appreciate you coming in this morning.
I appreciate you guys having me.
What we'd like to do, Libby, is just dive in a little bit more to your background and your qualifications for the position. So I've got some questions that are kind of general questions, and then Mr. Hughes got some that are more specific to the clinical or technical aspects of the job as well. So we'll just dive in and learn more about your background.
Okay.
Why don't you start by telling us why you've chosen the degree program that you have and why this job is of interest to you?
Well, when I was younger, I was always interested. I've always been interested in like people, and I know that's kind of cliche, and everyone says that, but like I see kids and like my heart hurt for them. Like I saw that they needed a chance that their parents weren't giving them. Mm-hmm. And so my original plan was to become a teacher and help those kids. But then when I came to college, I kind of realized that the education program wasn't the route I wanted to take. And I started to get into psychology and learn more about people and kind of how like their minds work, and learn more about just like things that you don't, like if you're not looking or if you're not being taught, you don't see. And so then my heart began to hurt for not only the children but for the parents. And so I want to, like, I mean, just like God gives us a second chance and sees the good in us. Like I see that in other people, and so that's kind of why I chose psychology, because I want to give those guys a second chance, like I was given a second chance.
Tell us a little bit about your work experience.
I haven't had a lot of experience in necessarily the psychology. I have worked in a lot of after school programs with kids, and anywhere from like recreational to like helping them with school. My parents owned a snow cone business, and so I also had the opportunity to work with kids doing that, like interacting with them.
What kind of business?
Snow cone business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so I like with money too. Like we had to come home and count the money, and then and so I got the experience like working with money and people as well in that area, or in that business. And my mom also owned a photography business, and so again, working with older people, answering questions, and like if my mom was busy, then trying to solve problems, if you will, just like trying to, well, if she was busy, trying to figure out ways to smooth things over until she was able to take over.
Okay. Tell us about a time when you had to deal with a coworker or a fellow student whose style was completely different from your own. What challenges did it create, and how did you handle it?
I think that group work brings a lot of opportunity for that. I haven't had a lot of problems, because for the most part, I'm pretty easygoing. I don't. I feel like if I feel like my opinion is valuable enough, or if it's something that, like, if the professor, I'm like, the professor said he didn't want, or she said that he didn't want this, then I would speak up. But for a lot of times, like, I would give my opinion, and if like the group liked it, then we would go with it. If not, then I was just like, okay, we can go with yours. But if I really felt like it was something that would add to the presentation or the project, then I would push it a little bit more. But for the most part, I don't usually try to push my opinion if it's not.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your favorite professor. Why his or her style was so effective for you.
Well, I haven't had a lot of professors. I would say that one of my favorite professors is Professor View. He he's very passionate about what he does, and he has a way of making you passionate about it too. And like I said, I came into school originally doing education, and I didn't really know exactly what route to take, and so I decided to do psychology, and just his excitement and his passion for psychology made me passionate, and I've learned a lot, and I really like how he gets us involved in the community, and I've made some connections through there and built some relationships because of that. And so I would say just his passion in the way that he teaches, like he doesn't feel like he needs to do a PowerPoint or something every day. He mixes it up, and just his different styles of learning in every class.
When you consider the possibility of this job, what creates the most apprehension or nervousness for you, and why?
I think that because I have little experience, there's the scariness of not really knowing what to expect, and I think that anytime you're doing something that you haven't done before, that you just you don't know what to expect. And I think we all do better in situations where we've experienced it and we kind of know what to expect. And even if we do like having a little bit of an idea what to expect, you don't really know. And so I think that there's some scariness in the unknown. And also I think it's important. We're dealing with people's lives here, and that's kind of scary as well. But and I say that, and I'm confident in my education to where I feel like I know how to deal with that, but it's still kind of scary.
Do you have some questions?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, given this is working with people, just kind of what you said just now, how would you describe your qualifications for doing the job?
Well, my past jobs, and I think that life qualifies us for this kind of too, but just being able to, I feel like I've learned a lot, even just in the jobs that aren't like psychology related. I worked landscaping, and the people I worked with, like, it was really hard. Like, it was a new business, and so I had to learn, and like the people I didn't necessarily get along with that well, and so I had to learn to deal with different personalities and recognize, and also my schooling a lot. Like we've learned a lot about ways of looking at different perspectives, and just being able to, like, teaching us how to be understanding, and allowing them to tell their story and not assume too much about them. And so I would say that, like, my work has taught me a lot, and life has taught me a lot, and also my education has taught me a lot about just dealing with people. And
were there any social service experience that you can name? Anything that you've done that would actually be considered part of the helping profession?
I don't know about jobs per se, but my professor, he did get us out a lot and just kind of showed us, and there was some programs there, circles, that really benefited that. And there wasn't really any full-time jobs, but there's a lot of just like going.
Well, how about volunteer positions?
I volunteered at the homeless shelter. Just like we basically fed them mostly, and then interacted with them. So.
How long did you do that?
Well, it was off and on for through high school.
Okay. Anything else? Any other volunteer positions?
I volunteered for, there's the Women's Resource Center in Gillette, and they have a banquet every year, and so I volunteered, like, waitressing and stuff. Basically just serving food.
How about in your school? Have you done anything in your schoolwork that would be considered social service related?
Again, there's after-school programs. Westside Community Center. We went there at like 3, and the kids were fed, and then we helped them with their homework, and then after they did their homework for a certain amount of time, we just like played basketball, like football, just kind of recreational, like supervision.
And did we get a resume? Okay.
So did you send me a resume?
I did.
Was it last night?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have a chance to email this morning, so.
Did you have practicum in school?
I did. I did a program called Run the Streets, and
Tell me about that.
Basically, we were training the kids for a half marathon, and it was originally for juvenile delinquents kids, and if they completed the half marathon, then they would be released from their probation. And so, but they have they have these kids who come in, and then they have mentors who run with the kids and kind of just like talk to them, and I was a mentor kind of, and it was really good experience. Like I'm not a huge runner. I never really thought that running long distance was very fun, but it was a very rewarding program to see not only the girl that I was running with grow, but also watch the other kids grow, and just like finishing that when they were all done, like some of them didn't have fun at all, but just like the reward and the discipline it took to finish that, you could see that it was very beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
Good. And who would have been your supervisor there?
There was a lady by the name of Becky, and then Bob Myers.
Williams.
And they were both very, very caring people. You could tell that they loved the kids, and they were very nice to me. There were some times where you could just you could just see that they loved them. Like even when they were being stern with them, you could tell it's because they cared. And I could, even when I walked in there like the first day, like I could tell that they were happy for me, happy to have me there, and excited.
And was Becky like your supervisor there, kind of?
Yeah, well, she was kind of the supervisor of all of it,
Right.
and she coordinated like the races and like getting everyone signed up for that. And then Bob he was more like he ran with the kids and stuff, and so he was kind of like he started the program.
So if Becky, we don't have a resume, so we didn't get to contact your references, but if Becky was here, what would she say about your experience there?
Well, I think that she would have positive things to say. I went there and knew knew a girl, knew a couple of the girls, and so was able to connect right away with her. And then as time went on, began to connect with the girls, like her friends, and then from there it just kind of branched out. And so I would say that she'd have positive things to say.
Anything else?
Anything else you want us to know about your qualifications?
I think that's good.
All right, I think that's it then.
Okay.
We appreciate you coming in.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Here.
Thanks for having me.
And what we'll plan to do is meet Thursday at the exact same time,
Okay.
and then we'll give you some feedback.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thanks.